Welcome. We're live in many places apparently. This is a special one-time event, one time only. I will do start sit on this channel because why not? So yeah, I don't do a lot of intros or whatever. I'm used to having Cal to do all of that for me. So John, why don't you let's start with that?
Okay. Yeah, you can find me on Twitter at John_Hesterman. And I do Dynasty content for DynastyLeagueFootball.com. And during the season, I do a lot of DFS content with Fantasy Pros. So
I love
that's,
that.
yeah.
I listened to you. You were on the DFS pod. Actually, it's funny. I don't play I don't play a lot of DFS. I'm trying to tweet this out. But I do actually still listen to the pod.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun. Joey P is just a blast to hang
Oh,
out
Joey
with.
P. I love Joey P.
I mean, he's just great, and the like pre-show stuff when we were in the studio was great. Like he's just cutting it up and making jokes and just making sure I felt comfortable going on live with him. And it was a lot of fun. He's a great host, and it was an absolute blast. It was a good show.
I love that. I will say that I've prepared nothing for this show. So, if you guys have questions, ask them. Mostly, I want to do start sit. I'm simulcasting this on my channel and the DLF channel, so I understand that DLF. Jeez, I can't even talk. I'm losing my voice, so I will do my best to give you guys what I have. But anyway, I understand that we will probably get some Dynasty questions. That's fine. I love talking about Dynasty. So
Yeah, and
but
if you
just in the
do,
comments, make sure if it's a trade question, say if it's Dynasty redraft. If it starts sit, give me a format and PPR and any tight end premium, PPC, anything like that, because that'll help me. Anyway, we have our first question. Man, we're not getting much out of my voice today, but we'll do my best. First question from Ryan and Hannah. It's Dynasty, okay. Trade LaVisca for Lockett. I'm a contender down Woods and now AJ Brown. So what do you think about that? Would you, if you were a contender in Dynasty, would you do this?
if I was a contender, I'd probably still keep Lockett.
Well, that's what. No, he has LaVisca now. It seems, and he
Oh,
wants to
okay,
trade
okay.
for
I
Lockett.
gotcha. Okay,
That
yeah.
seems
Then
like
I
that's what
I
he's saying.
would I would probably make that move if I was a contender and just lost Robert Woods, who's typically pretty solid production. So Lockett's got a little more boom or bust, but he's got a higher ceiling at this point than LaVisca does and a safer floor. So yeah, I would probably make that move.
Yeah, I kind of think you have to, because like LaVisca, you can't play. Oh my god, can't
There's
play him.
no one drove the LaVisca bus further than I did, and
No, you're
yeah,
wrong. I did. I did. No, you're wrong. You're wrong. I take more responsibility for that than you do. Unfortunately, my voice is a little louder. So oh boy. I went I don't think I went up in flames on anyone as hard as I did on LaVisca Chenault, where I was so confident and so wrong about anyone. I really don't think there's anyone else that I was that confident and that wrong. Because I was confident about Judy, but Judy got hurt. Can't predict
right,
that. I was confident about Claypool, but honestly, Claypool hasn't been that bad. If you actually look at the stats, he hasn't been that bad. He hasn't done what we wanted, but he
right.
hasn't been that bad.
Well,
And then
not
Akers was my other one. And again, like Judy,
hurt. Yeah,
that's nothing I could do about that. But Visca is the one who has like no excuses. None at all. So I am very sorry
Yeah, so am I. Yeah, it's something we were both high on him and he's got the skill set to be awesome. He's just not utilized in that capacity. So we'll see if they turn that ship around with Agnew being down, but I'm not counting on it. So in this case, yeah, if you can
No, it'll
move
be
that for
Tavon
Lockett,
Austin. It'll be Tavon Austin, of course.
yeah.
No, I just I can't. I feel so bad for the people, but yeah, you need Lockett. All right, here's some start sit questions. So, uh, from Ridley Truther. Oh, Ridley Truther's around everywhere. Welcome. Start Cam or Cousins in the super flex spot. Already starting Josh Allen. So, did you do numbered ranks?
Do I? Yes.
Okay, good. Where do you have these guys ranked?
I've got Cam at QB 11 on the week, and I've got Cousins at 10.
Well, I have Cam at 9 and Cousins at 10. So we're not far off, but we're
Right.
gonna give you different answers. Sorry, you gotta split the difference there. But as you can see, it's a toss up essentially for both of us. Yeah, sorry that wasn't very
one
helpful.
spot difference. You're splitting hairs, at that point, and you've got a pretty good performance out of Josh Allen. So
Yeah,
if you want the safety, you go with Cousins, who's like pretty
I'm not
guaranteed
sure I agree
production.
with that. Actually, I'm not sure
Really,
Cousins is safer. No, Cousins can give you a big fat dud anytime. Cam might be safer because Cam's gonna run anyway.
the
Cousins
running can
always
mask
Cousins
for
is
a,
good for 3 or 4 of those 4-point games a year. Cousins' floor is very low. Cam's floor is higher.
over the last, I want to say over the last 4 weeks.
But that's a tiny sample size. I mean, I know Kirk
It
Cousins
is
over 9 years. Kirk Cousins
right.
at any time can give you a complete disaster. It is very possible.
Yeah, I think
I don't
with
know.
them
I mean,
being, I think with them being that close, it's a toss up. You've already got a
pretty
pretty good
much,
game
yeah.
out of Allen. So I mean, they're one spot different in both of our rankings. So yeah, it's pick your poison. Do you want the rushing touchdown upside or do you want the potential 300-yard game?
I think Cam's upside against Miami is immense. And Cam could be the
The
quarterback
upside
one
is
in the league.
definitely there, but you're
Yeah.
not relying on his arm.
No, I would never rely on his arm. Cam's arm is washed. We know that.
Yes,
But it doesn't, you can throw to Christian McCaffrey with a washed arm.
that's true.
That's the difference between this year and last year. It doesn't matter that he's washed. All right, from Noah, Burrow, Cousins. We just talked about Cousins. We both have him at 10. What about Burrow?
I've got Burrow at 12.
13. So Cousins
So
for both of us then,
Yeah.
for similar reasons. Oh, okay. So I've actually had versions. I've had a lot of Claypool questions this week. So flex question, which is always more interesting. So flex Miles Sanders or Chase Claypool. So let's start with Miles Sanders. Where do you have Miles Sanders among running backs?
Let's pull that up here. I've got him at RB 21 on the week.
I have him 20. So almost exactly the same. What about Claypool among wide receivers?
And I've got Claypool at wide receiver 26. Now, my rankings are done in half point.
Oh, I rank PPR because I'm dynasty first. So since I'm dynasty first, I do my start sit in PPR. Because there are basically no standard dynasty leagues.
Right.
They're almost all PPR. So I do it. I do my starts in PPR because that's just most of my Patreon leagues are PPR. But I have Claypool at 27. So almost exactly the same. Which makes this an interesting decision. I have people a lot. I've gotten some version of Javonte or Claypool like 5 times, and I've said Claypool. I do have Miles Sanders one spot higher, so I don't know if that's enough to make a difference. I do trust Miles. I mean, Miles Sanders is going to get the volume with Jordan Howard out. He kind of is at the end of a tier for me. I'd probably go Miles Sanders, but it is very close.
I'm leaning the same. I'm leaning Miles Sanders. I think the potential touchdown upside gives him a little bit of a boost there and gives him the edge. So I would probably go with Sanders there.
This is like a dead toss up to me, though. I will say very, very close.
Yes.
Half PPR, Alex Collins, Ty Johnson, or either of the Titans running backs. This is the first easy one for me. It's I'm going to play Ty Johnson.
I was going to say the same. So I'm actually looking at DJ Dallas as taking a larger role this week. So I don't trust Alex Collins. The Titans RBs, I'm not trusting anything in that offense right now. So yeah, that's Ty Johnson for me.
I mean, I think you can play Deonta Foreman, but I would rather play Ty Johnson.
Yep, agreed.
I have Ty Johnson at running back 26.
Let's see where
Although that is in full PPR, so he might be a couple spots lower. I'd drop him below Damian Harris at least.
I've got him at RB 30.
Yeah, so that's half. So that, yeah, I'd probably have him only drop him one spot in half to 27. Just switch him with Damian Harris, who I have at 27. But yeah, I have Foreman all the way down at 32. So, and he might come up a spot above McKissick in half PPR, but wouldn't be enough to put him over Johnson. Collins is way lower, and Hilliard is even lower. So, especially in half PPR, I have no interest in Hilliard. Okay, oh, man, my voice is just sorry, guys. Good morning. Well, I always say whenever anyone says good morning, I'm not a morning person, so I always say it's a matter of opinion. From Derek, Mike Williams or Cooks? Okay, these are three separate questions. Let's take them one at a time. Mike Williams or Cooks? Chargers fan here. We have a Chargers fan.
We do.
Mike Williams or Cooks?
I've got Mike Williams up significantly over Brandon Cooks. Not significantly. It's a 4-spot difference. I've got Mike Williams at wide receiver 15 this week.
Oh, so we're not going to agree.
Cooks at 19.
Oh, yeah, we're not going to agree. Well, actually, we agree on Cooks pretty much because I have Cooks at 18. So Cooks is the same, essentially. But Williams, I have at 24. So not at 15. So very different. I think it's Brandon Cooks pretty easily, actually. So yeah, you're not going to get agreement on that one, unfortunately. Let's take the second one because I think the second one's easy. Between Fournette and Javonte, I think that's pretty easy. It's Fournette. I don't think those two are close.
Yep, I've got Fournette over both the Denver running backs this week.
Yeah, and where do you have Fournette this week?
I've got Fournette at 17.
I have him at 15. But there's a lot of murkiness. It's like, did you rank Jones? Did you rank Dillon, Mitchell, Patterson? Like, what did you do with? So those rankings are not that different.
Right.
And then Javonte?
I've got Javonte actually a couple spots behind Melvin Gordon this week. As much as I want him to break out, I just don't. I think they're still going to keep the same split they've had. So I've got him at RB 22.
Yeah, so I actually have them reversed. I have Javonte ahead because Javonte outsnapped him and had more touches, I believe, in the last. There was more routes also in the last game for the first time all season. Now we come out of a bye week. I do think that I would rather play Javonte this week. So I have Javonte at 21 and Gordon at 24. You can play both. But
yeah, so they're both firmly in that RB2 conversation.
Fournette way above.
I've got Fournette above both.
Yeah, way above them. He's in a different tier. And then the last one, Fant or Henry. Well, we know that I don't know if you know this, but I despise Noah Fant. I don't like Noah Fant. So I always have who are the most overrated players at each position. Overrated. Tua, Miles Sanders. Probably these days probably Bateman, just because people think he's a god and the next Hall of Famer, and I'm like, slow down. And Fant, I think, is the most overrated tight end. But with that said, I'm still going to play Fant over Henry, who I do not want to play this week at all.
I'm concerned about it taking all week to declare both of them active. So I'm kind of taking the surety there, and I'll take Fant. I've got them pretty close this week.
Where do you have Fant?
I've got Fant at 12, and I've got Henry at 14.
Henry at 15. So almost exactly the same. Yeah, I have Fant at 12. I think there was a clear top 11 this week, actually. And Fant is the one was the next on the outside looking in. Players I don't want to play.
Right.
And that top 11, started with Waller. Then I had Kittle, Andrews, Hawk, Pitts, Schultz, Gronk, Gesicki, Goddard, Freiermuth, and Knox were the 11 tight ends that I wanted to play. Fant, I do not want to play.
We've got the
Fant,
exact same ones, just a slightly modified
slightly different
order.
order.
Yeah,
But I
they're
do
the
think it was
same.
very consensus. Those 11 were like
Yeah,
the top 11 for almost everybody. And
yeah,
then Fant,
completely agree.
I noticed Fant was 12 almost everywhere. And then you get a bunch of other players.
He's 12 in mine, and he's the one that I fiddled with the most, like shuffling him between 12 and 14 pretty consistently. I didn't solidify that until this morning when I did see that Hunter Henry's supposed to be active, and that kind of, okay, I'll put him, a
Yeah.
little bit above. So that kind of locked him into 12 finally.
I think if I knew I was going to have Logan Thomas, I would have him at 12. But it's Monday night. I'm worried. Last time he was supposed to play, and then there was a setback.
Right.
I'm not going to go there if I don't have to.
Yeah, so. And I'm in the same boat. I've got Logan Thomas at 15, and he would be in that 12 hole if it was a for sure thing, and if it was, like you said, if it was a
yeah. We have Thomas and Henry flipped. I have Thomas at 14, right. So almost exactly the same.
Yep.
But yeah, Noah Fant clearly is not a big part of their plans. You don't re-sign 2 other receivers in addition to your first round receiver if you think that a tight end is going to be a featured part of your offense. Fant is a bit part player. Fant has more in common, and flame me if you want, but Fant has more in common with Evan Ingram than he does with actually relevant tight ends like Mark Andrews. He has more in common. He's closer to Evan Ingram than he is to Mark Andrews. And, come at me if you want. I don't care. I really don't care anymore. So from Mark, start Rodgers or Cousins. We talked about Cousins a lot. What about Rodgers?
He's going out there with a toe. He was dealing with the same issue last week. Put up almost 400 yards. Yeah. He was awesome, and this is going to be a pretty competitive matchup. I think he can toss on him. So I've got Rodgers at QB 8 this week.
I have him at 8 exactly. So Rodgers. Okay. Dynasty 12-team Superflex. Trade Waller and Tannehill for Mac Jones, Fant, and a first. Oh, boy. Well, you just heard me bash on Fant. But I'll still take that side. Rather easily, actually.
Yeah, I'm good with it.
Easily, I'll take the Mac Jones side. I don't want Tannehill at all. Tannehill's plummeting in my dynasty ranks.
Yeah, it's been an interesting season. I knew there was going to be some settle period, for him to get acclimated to a different offense than what he's used to running. And he hasn't looked great with that. And then, of course, losing weapon after weapon after weapon is not helping either. So if I can steer clear of him right now and I can get something for value out of him, which this guy did, then I'm good with it.
Waller also has not been Darren Waller.
No, outside of week 1, he had 19 targets in week 1 and just hasn't really done much.
Waller and TJ Hawkinson have had similar seasons. Big opening start and then not much. The difference is that one of those 2 players is 5 years younger than the other.
Right.
Like Darren Waller is not ascending. Darren Waller is at best at the back end of his prime to declining, whereas TJ Hawkinson is still ascending. So there's a big difference, and that's why I'd rather have TJ Hawkinson in Dynasty over Darren Waller. But in this case, yeah, I'll take I want Mac Jones in Superflex so badly, compared to Tannehill anyway. Yes, from J-Dub. Am I crazy for playing Elijah Moore over DK this week? Yes, you're crazy.
Yeah, Washington is the most friendly matchup for quarterbacks and wide receivers, and DK is a beast, and DK is good enough to where he can mask whatever Russell Wilson is dealing with right now, especially against that secondary. Yeah, I want DK in there this week.
Where do you have DK ranked?
Let's see here. Wide receiver 8.
Okay, I have him at 11, but more?
Let's move down here. 22.
I have him at 20. So I'm very into Elijah Moore, but not over DK.
Right.
DK is still good. I mean, really, DK Metcalf has looked fine. Unlike AJ Brown, who has not looked fine, DK Metcalf has looked like DK Metcalf. No issues other than maybe his attitude, maybe punching people. Maybe that part we need to work on.
Yeah.
That part is a problem. He needs to not punch people and not get ejected.
Yes.
Let's eliminate that from his repertoire. But other than that, As
Yeah,
an
let's
actual,
assume for this game he's not throwing haymakers. I
yeah,
like him this week.
that part I don't like. But other than that, I mean, he really hasn't looked any different. He's looked fine. I have no issues with DK Metcalf. And if anyone's worried about him in Dynasty, I would be first in line to go buy DK Metcalf. First in line. I would love to do that. Yeah, well, I will try. Oh boy. Something tells me that like Agnew before him, we've never heard of the next Jaguars top wide receiver. No, it's Tavon Austin. I've heard of him. How are you going to feel? And you can just tell me. How are you going to feel? This week, you see Tavon Austin with 3 jet sweeps and 6 carries. How are you going to feel? Laviska Shenault has no carries. How would you feel about that?
I wouldn't be surprised, just based on how they're like clearly not trying to feature Laviska in that same role that he had last year that he was so successful with. So yeah, it wouldn't surprise me in the least.
Yeah, I wrote about Laviska Shenault recently, and I was not impressed. Not impressed. Not good enough. He's worked his way into my doghouse. You know how it is with my doghouse. Once you get in my doghouse, you never.
Yeah, you're kind of a permanent fixture once
pretty
you get
much.
there.
I mean, like, yeah, Juju's never getting out of my doghouse. Carson Wentz has kind of worked his way out of my doghouse.
He's played solid football this year.
Not for fantasy, but for real life.
Yeah.
For real life. The problem is that Jonathan Taylor just puts a big hammer on everyone else's value. Jonathan Taylor is just so good.
He is.
Morning, Derek. Welcome. I can't tell which comments are on my YouTube and which comments are on the Dynasty League football channel, but it is there are viewers on both, so I'm glad I simulcasted it because I want everyone to see this show. I might simulcast SDLF, because I don't care where people watch it. I just want people to watch it.
Right.
To see the great show that we're doing, get some Dynasty advice. I might do that because this seems to have been worth it. Anyway, so Ramondre, Ty Johnson, Hilliard, or Foreman already starting Damian Harris. Go Ty Johnson.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. I'd rather start Ty Johnson over Damian Harris in PPR. Azu VK 24. I thought that was good. Cousins has been great for like 1.5 years straight, and this has a very high total. Well, yeah, that's why I have him at QB 10. If I didn't like him, I wouldn't rank him as a QB 1. I just like Cam better. I think Miami's defense is. They may have played well against the Ravens, but their track record this season is not good. Not good at all. So I think Cam is going to have a big day. Plus, also with Christian McCaffrey, it's so hard to fail. As a quarterback, it's so hard to fail with Christian McCaffrey. Something that people don't talk about enough, honestly.
He definitely opens things up for everyone around him, so I like that.
Well, it's not that. It's that you get the production to McCaffrey. That's so easy. It's so easy to throw it to McCaffrey because it's so short. But the quarterback gets those points anyway with the yak. So, I feel like McCaffrey's never really played with a good quarterback. But I'd be curious, like, what if Deshaun Watson played there? What would Deshaun Watson's numbers be like? I feel like it would be crazy.
Yeah.
Coin flip basically between Cam and Cousins. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I'm not too worried about the total, though, because of the rushing yards. But also, and this is something that John would know a lot about, and I would know almost nothing about. I don't play DFS. I don't look at Vegas ever, really. So, I'm probably leaving some stuff on the table when I do analysis, but man, I mean, I do my best. I think I have a pretty good track record, honestly. All right. Sitting in 7th place, we trade J-Rob for Dobbins straight up. Would knock me out, but put me in great position for 22. It's a good question. What do you think about that? What do you think about the dynasty outlook of these two players?
I want all the Dobbins.
Good. So we agree.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, Dobbins is one of my favorite buy lows.
Absolutely. If you can acquire him, I would make whatever offer I can get to try to get Dobbins.
Yeah, I basically I've started in my dynasty rankings now that teams are eliminated from the playoffs. So we're getting to the point. So I'm weighing the off-season portion of my rankings more. I really started doing that this week. I turned to a little bit more weighing the offseason. So Dobbins has been moving up my rankings. Also, since everyone they've replaced him with has been ineffective, I have no doubt that Dobbins is just going to walk right back into the starting job. They don't have a choice.
Yeah.
So, yeah. At this point, I would rather have Dobbins than Ezekiel Elliott in Dynasty, for sure.
I'd agree.
James Robinson, I like James Robinson. I think he's going to be the starter. I think Travis Etienne is the next Rashad Penny, personally. So,
I like ETN, but I mean, obviously, we haven't seen anything from the NFL side to support that. I think they drafted him with a purpose in mind, but I have him on a few dynasty squads, and he's holding spot in an IR right now. But I'm not making any aggressive moves to acquire him.
ETN better hope that Urban Meyer doesn't get fired, because if he does, then his draft capital means nothing.
Yeah.
The coach who wanted him in the first round, who reached on him, to be honest. I then think Travis Etienne deserved to be a first-round pick. I think he deserved to be a second-round pick, which is still good for running back. Sure. But I don't think he deserved to be a first-round pick. Just like Rashad Penny didn't deserve to be a first-round pick.
No.
And he better hope Urban Meyer doesn't get fired, because if he does, then you're just going to look at the production, and one player has 2 years of RB1 style production as workhorse, and the other one has no production. So that would be interesting. Oh, this is a total. Okay, 4th and 1. Ayuk, Mitchell, Higgins, Patterson start 2 in full PPR. And also, we're about to get the inactive soon, so we'll see what that does. But anyway, these players, what do you think?
Higgins hasn't really been doing a whole lot so far this season. He's been outside wide receiver 2 status basically all year. Patterson is up in the air with health, so I'm kind of waiting on that. I like Ayuk. Ayuk has managed to scrape his way out of the Shaney doghouse. And Mitchell, I guess if Patterson plays, I want Ayuk and Patterson.
Well, we're about to find out if Patterson plays in about a minute. So we'll know. Mitchell's definitely going to play, apparently.
Yeah.
We won't, unfortunately, we won't know that, but I'm going to go with what we heard earlier. And with San Francisco, I'm going to go Mitchell and Patterson, by the way. But with San Francisco, Green Bay, there's a couple of these teams where if you're in, you're in. If you're not ready, you don't play. So if Mitchell plays, he's the man. So no limitations. We learned this lesson with George Kittle's snap count. No. If you play, you're in. So if Mitchell is active, and he will be, I am playing him with full confidence. I have Mitchell at RB14.
Really?
Yeah.
I haven't adjusted yet, so he's currently sitting at RB23 for me because I was waiting on the confirmation of him playing. If he plays, I'm probably going to move him up into that Fournette, Aaron Jones if he plays range.
And Aaron Jones is the same thing. With Green Bay, if you play, you're close to 100%, and you're going to have your full workload. If you can't do that, you don't play. So if Jones were in, I currently have Dylan at 13. I would probably I'd actually put Jones lower than I would have Dylan. I'd rather play Dylan with no Jones than Jones with Dylan, actually.
Yeah, that's where I'm at with the New England running back situation. They're both questionable. They're both expected to play, and I wish one of them wasn't.
Yeah, that was all a bunch of nonsense. They're both definitely going to play. I had no doubt that either one was going to play at all. That's just the Patriots being the Patriots. By the way, Cordero Patterson will play. So
okay, good.
He will play. So, I'm not. I mean, I don't know what is not excited. I have him RB17. So I'm actually more confident in Elijah Mitchell's health than Cordero Patterson's. More worried about an ankle than a finger. Ankle's more likely to limit you than a finger.
Agreed.
But 17 is still a must play. So I think you have to play Patterson. I do.
Mm-hmm.
I would not sit him. So yeah, for me, it's Mitchell and Patterson. I have Higgins. Higgins' ECR rank makes no sense to me this week. None. I have Higgins at 28.
Well, let me pull up and see where I've got Higgins. I've got him, I think, outside the top 30, but let me look. I've got him at 29. I've got him at 29.
Yeah, ECR had him at like 19. I just don't get it. I don't know why. What has he done to deserve such a rank?
Target share. I mean, he hasn't done anything with him, but he's getting the target
shares. Team target shares, so they're my least favorite.
I mean, the volume is the only reason he stayed inside my top 30. It's not been production. It's been volume.
He didn't get the volume last week.
No, he didn't have it last week.
No, the worst thing about team target share is sometimes they actually get it double wrong, because the worst thing is when you get a lot of volume and do nothing at all with it.
Right.
Nothing. Then I have a large sample size to say that you suck. That's actually the worst thing. Team target share is like, I don't care. Is there a fantasy category for target share? Do I score any points for target share? Does that help me win my fantasy matchup? Did the rules change and target share gets me points now? No, it didn't change. So
we do chase volume.
But if you don't produce on your volume, what does that say about you? That says that you're not very good.
Right.
And we've had a long sample size this season. I mean, too much failure. We talk about failure all the time, and having a lot of volume and failing to do anything with it is a big failure. So, I don't really want failure on my team. I want success.
I was counting the minutes. I was counting the minutes until we got like the first failure sighting of the show.
Well, T. Higgins is starting to join the failure club because he's not very good. Clearly. I mean, if he were really that good, he would produce more. But why hasn't he produced? Jamar Chase is capable of producing on similar volume, but he has so much more production. Why is that happening? Why is T. Higgins? It's not a quarterback problem. It's not like Joe Burrow is bad, right? No. I mean, why can't T. Higgins produce? I don't know. Someone should tell me. I mean, for me, 446 yards on 60 targets is not good enough. Not good enough. 37 receptions on those targets, unacceptable. It's not good enough. And I would sell T. Higgins in Dynasty because there are people who are like, well, he has a very high percentage of the targets. He will bounce back. No, he's not playing well.
What voice is that?
That's the
I love it.
That's the voice of that's my voice for people who have you ever heard the saying that sometimes being smarter and using your brain more actually hurts you? That's what I think is. I say that sometimes. Sometimes you're better off just not thinking about it as much and just using what's right in front of your eyes than trying to galaxy brain it.
Yeah. I gotcha. I see what you're saying.
This is one of those things where I think it's right in front of your eyes that there's something wrong with T. Higgins.
Yeah, the overthink. That's what I do every Sunday morning before lineups lock. I overthink and make stupid moves.
That's my other thing. Excuses don't score you any fantasy points. There's no fantasy points for excuses. Speaking of excuses, I'm not taking Tannehill excuses. He was bad when he had all his weapons. He's been bad the whole season. He's been bad. So I'm not going to take excuses. I'm not just going to give him a pass for the whole year. But I would play Taylor Heineke over Ryan. Where do you even have Tannehill ranked? He's so low for me.
I've got him at 21.
I have him at 22.
So, I mean, yeah, he would be in, Superflex conversation as your QB2, but I'm not happy about it.
No,
if I have any of these other options, I'm playing him.
The only reason he's not even lower is because he has some rushing upside.
Right. He is a threat, especially with Derrick Henry out of the lineup. He's had 5 rushing touchdowns in the last handful of games. So yeah, he's a threat in that regard, but he's fine as a super flex QB2. But if I'm streaming or if I'm in a single quarterback, I want nothing to do with him.
Nothing to do with him. Where do you have Heineke?
15.
Oh, I'm at 11. I'm very high.
I thought I was high.
No, I have him 11. No, ECR
Nice.
has him at 14. So you're with him.
I'm right there with
I'm even
ECR.
higher. I'm all in. Afternoon? Where is it the afternoon? All right. PPR Superflex. Who's the odd man out? I'll probably leave Ramondre out. I have Ramondre at running back 29.
I would sit Chenault.
Yeah, it's really what do I rather? Wide receiver 42 or running back 29? Probably
Right.
wide receiver 42. It's close. It's between Chenault and Ramondre. The other ones are way higher.
Yep. And the second part of the question is roll the dice with Logan Thomas or plug Conklin.
Conklin's a bit low for me.
Yeah.
I have Conklin at 18.
I've got him right there. I'm at 17 with him. So
I'm fine rolling the dice on Thomas. I'm pretty sure he's going to play.
Yeah. If those are the two options, I'm going to go with Thomas because if we know for a fact that Thomas is active, it's not a question. So
Thomas was activated, or he will be. I'm pretty sure Thomas is going to play. I'm like too. 90% sure Thomas is going to play. I don't know how effective he's going to be, but I'm pretty sure he's going to play. Conklin could get you nothing. Half PPR. Who do I start, Mitchell or Higgins? I feel like we answered this already. Mitchell. Hey, Darren. What's up? Hey, guys. Freeman or Cooks? Cooks. Easily, actually. Okay. I'm in the bottom three of the league. Ridley is out. AJ Brown is out. I'm sorry. That has happened to a lot of us. I have Pittman. Now I have Burrow, Jones. Okay, all these other players. Do I trade Christian McCaffrey? Yes. Yes. If you're in the bottom three of the league, yes.
Yeah.
12-team Superflex.
Yeah, if you can cash in on the value now and kind of replenish what you've got and maybe end up with a pick or two, yeah, I'd do it.
Oh boy. There may be big news. Unless I'm reading this wrong. I want to check on something for a second.
All right.
Oh boy. Well, I don't like I like when I'm right, but I don't like it for the player. So I've been bashing on Terrace Marshall all week, being like he's a bust. And now he's a healthy scratch today.
Ooh.
So he's done. He's done for me. I've been saying he's a bust. I had a whole discussion about this on SDLF, and I wrote about it in the 6-pack. Now my 6-pack article is irrelevant because I'm talking. Well, it'll be relevant when I talk about it on the Monday Hangover. I'm like, well, I'm sorry, we can't talk about how he played because he didn't play.
Right.
Oh, that's not good. Okay.
All righty. Breaking news, folks. Breaking news. Terrace Marshall, healthy scratch.
He's a bust then. I'm done with him. But yeah, trade CMC. Okay. Van, Javonte, or Damian Harris, PPR? Javonte.
Yeah, I'm going with Javonte there too.
Yeah. Good morning. Yeah, I hate mornings. But anyway, should I play Mitchell or Patterson?
I've got Mitchell over Patterson this week.
So do I. I'm more confident in Mitchell's health. We actually talked about that before. Yep. Mitchell at 14, Patterson at 17.
Yep.
So Josh thinks I'd be happy that he traded Clyde Edwards-Helaire for Mitchell and a second last week. I love it. Failure. I don't really want Failure on my team. Failure is not very good. I actually think that he got in the way of the Chiefs offense last week. He was so bad that they would have been better off without him. I don't like him at all. He just gets in the way. So I still think they're better off with Darrell Williams. I still think Darrell Williams is better for their team than Clyde Edwards-Helaire. So I don't want more failure in my life. So I have Elijah Mitchell ranked higher in Dynasty. So I will stick with Elijah Mitchell. I just don't see the point. I mean, what are you hoping for with failure? I mean, he doesn't offer anything.
If Clyde Edwards-Helaire had the same workload that Darrell Williams had when CEH was out, do you think that changes?
He can't handle that workload, so that's not going to happen. He's incapable of handling that workload, can't do anything at the goal line, doesn't seem to be able to get on the field enough in passing situations, which is mind-blowing to me considering his college profile. Why can't he get on the field in those situations? Why is Darrell Williams, who, by the way, went to the same college and was played ahead of him when they played on the same team, but nobody remembers that. Why is Darrell Williams, who's a Jag, by the way, completely just a guy, why can he get on the field in passing situations, but Clyde Edwards-Helaire can't? Why is that?
Is it a pass protection thing? I mean, his profile, I'm with you. His profile in college says receiving is his forte.
But then why do they throw the ball to Darrell Williams and not Clyde Edwards-Helaire if it's just the passing protection thing? Not good enough.
Curious to see what his workload is like the rest of the season. I think that's going to be telling about his career.
Is just a guy. That's all he is. Just a guy. Not interested. He can be on someone else's dynasty team. So I'm glad that you got a second at least. Maybe that'll help you get another good player. Has anyone escaped the doghouse? Oh, Derek, I know you would ask this. Henderson, maybe. No, Henderson's right back in the doghouse. Henderson's been good on his opportunity, but I still think Akers is going to walk right back in. This offense would have been a lot better with Akers than it would have been with Henderson. Henderson's been better than I thought, but he reminds me a little bit of it's not the same player, but Kenyon Drake, someone who really is a backup or a complementary piece, but Kenyon Drake had that run in 2019, not 2020, 2019, where he was like really good as the starter for a little while and held up, but who isn't really meant for this kind of workload. A player who's meant for 12 to 15 carries a game and a couple receptions, not 18 to 20. That's what Henderson is. He needs to be a complementary piece. He's not really, he could play like an Edmonds role, complementing a Connor, for example. He would be fine in that role, but he's not. He as a workhorse, he's just not going to hold up. He goes off the field every game with an injury or soreness. He's really a complementary piece, but I do think he could be a starter. He's probably one of the best 32 running backs available at this moment. So I do think he could, if you paired him up with someone to absorb a little better than Michelle, to absorb some of the extra work, I think that would be ideal. Like a Henderson, Melvin Gordon backfield, for example, I think would be like a great combination. Or with Connor, I think would be good. Because Henderson's a little weak at the goal line. He's a little, not his forte. And he's a little weak in the passing game. He could be better in the passing game. Okay, from Jesse. Sup? What's up? Wide receiver hell. Yeah, we all are. Pick one in PPR. Galladay, Slayton, Chenault Gage. All the whole bevy of names here for you. What do you think?
Well,
first of all, let me just take Donovan Peoples-Jones out of this equation because I don't think Donovan Peoples-Jones is going to play. So forget about him. But what about everyone else?
I don't want anything to do with Gage because he can completely disappear even with no other receivers in front of him. So he's off the table for me. He can score points in someone else's roster. I don't even want him on a roster.
I'm fine with that.
Westbrook-Akina's interesting. He had 100 yards last week, but again, it's back to the Ryan Tannehill thing, and I don't love the matchup. Tim Patrick's interesting. Galladay, I feel like, has the clearest path to targets.
Where do you have Galladay?
Galladay or Slayton? Let me pull that up. I was just thinking the same thing.
I have Galladay high. I have Galladay at 31. To me, it's easily Galladay.
I've got him at 37.
Yeah.
So he's startable.
For me, it's easily Galladay. If he can't get it done this week, I mean, with no Garrett, Shepard and Shepard and Tony out, I mean, what would the excuses be at that point?
Because Kyle Rudolph's out too, so it's literally it's going to be Galladay, Slayton, and
Ingram,
and the always frustrating Ingram. So
Caden Smith is out too, so they don't even have any backup tight end.
Okay, well,
4 of their 6 inactives are wide receivers and tight ends.
Nice. Yeah, I guess we're going to have to roll with Kenny Galladay on this one.
Got to.
Yep.
I will say, 2 players, Galladay and Barkley, no more excuses. If they don't deliver this week, not next week, if Barkley does not deliver, if he does not look like Saquon Barkley, I am done. He must deliver this week. Now or never. It is now or never for Saquon Barkley. I am tired of the excuses. Why can't he come back from an injury like everyone else? Other players, they come back from an injury. Week 1, they're healthy. Why is it a 4-week delay? Why is there always a delay? Why wasn't he healthy at the start of the year? He should have been healthy at the start of the year, but he wasn't. And now from this ankle injury, it was supposed to be 2 weeks. Why was it 4 weeks? And then the first week he comes back, he looks like shit. Why? Not good enough. If he doesn't come back this week and look good immediately, we will have a problem. And he's going to drop significantly. He's already dropped in my dynasty ranks. I'm already pretty much done with him, but I'll be very done. And then Galladay, he was complaining about his targets. He was complaining. He's been complaining all season. He better come out this week then and deliver. Because if he doesn't deliver this week, we're going to have a problem. I mean, I already have a problem with him, but this might be my frustrated Giants fan talking, but I also do think on the other side of the ball, this is now or never for Miles Sanders. If he doesn't deliver this week, we're going to have an issue. Where I'm going to be like, why couldn't he deliver with Howard out in a great matchup? So that's another player who's kind of now or never for me. But Galladay and Barkley this week must deliver fantasy numbers. Otherwise, they're going to be on my list of dynasty assets I just won't have. I mean, Barkley's already there because he's so high priced. Galladay's cheaper, so I'm more willing to re-accept him into my life if he does well. Am I like the most aggressive dynasty analyst out there?
Is this like because you hate mornings? Are you?
No, I'm always like this. Have you watched SDLF?
Yes, I have. I know.
Yeah, I'm always like this.
It's fun. It's fun.
No, I mean, but I'm always honest. I mean, this is really how I feel. For a high-priced asset like Barkley, 4 years of excuses isn't good enough. Like, you asked me to spend a first or second round startup pick on a player, and every week there's a new excuse. I mean, that doesn't work for me. Why would I want to spend such high capital on such a player? That sounds like a terrible idea. I could just get someone else. Ridley Truther, Gordon or Harris? Gordon.
Yeah. I got to lean Gordon there, too.
I don't trust Harris at all. I mean, I have Harris and Stevenson very close at 27 and 29. And they involve Bolden. It's like a 3-way committee. From DFS, what do they always say? A 2-way committee we can deal with, but a 3-way committee, we don't want to go into a 3-way committee.
Yeah.
So I don't want to go in there.
If one of them was inactive, then I would want like either Ramondre or Harris, but with them both being active, I'm going to stay away from it. I'm going to take the Melvin Gordon here. He still has that goal line upside. He's very good in that area of the field. So yeah, I'm taking Gordon there.
The problem is the 30% of snaps that go to Brandon Bolden. That's the problem.
Right.
That's the problem in the New England backfield. It just makes it impossible because if Brandon Bolden gets the touchdown, then you're screwed on both Harris and Stevenson.
Right.
And it's very possible he does. All right, from Jesse. How do we feel about the Jones-Dillon situation if Jones plays? I had both guys. I talked about this earlier. Green Bay is so conservative with their medical staff. If Jones plays, he's 100%. He's in. He has his normal role. If you gun to my head, I don't think Jones plays.
I am unsure too because they have the bye next week. So if you sit him this week and he's not 100%, he's got the extra week to kind of rest up. So if he plays, I don't know that they're going to thrust him into that same role. So I'm more confident with Dillon this week because I think they're going to rest him.
If he plays, he's getting the role. I just don't think he's going to play at all. They're only going to play him. This is what the Packers do. They did this with Devontae Adams too. If they play him, they think he's 100%. If they don't think he's 100%, he won't play. There's no in between with the Packers. They're even more extreme than the Niners. If he plays, he's good. I do not think he will play because I do not think he's 100%. I think he's 80%. I think he's 80%. He wants to play, and they won't let him. That's what I think is going on here.
Yep, I think they're going to give him that extra week for the bye, and we're going to see him back after that.
But like I said, if he does play him. Derek, Tyler's doghouse. Yeah, my doghouse. Yeah, you don't want to go there. You don't want to go there because you never get out. Henry or Uzama? Uzama's really faded lately, right?
Yeah, I'm going with Henry there.
Tyler Boyd has kind of revitalized himself a little as the third weapon over Uzama. So I have Uzama at 23, Henry at 15. So not Uzama. Matchup sucks anyway. I don't think Pittsburgh is a matchup I'm really targeting.
No, and I've got Uzama, like you said, at 23. I've got him at 24. So we're in the same boat there. I'll take Hunter Henry there.
Also, Pittsburgh slows the game down, takes up a lot of time. Running the ball. It's not like I'm forcing extra Bengals weapons in this week. This is low key. I guess for me, it's pretty low key. But yeah, no, I don't. I mean, look, I'll answer everyone's questions, but I also don't I didn't pull up any in advance questions. I want to be here for the people who came in and watched the show. But this show is doing pretty well, viewership wise. I mean, it might be something to consider. I don't know. There haven't been any Sunday morning shows on this channel. So if you like this, tell them. And next year, I might consider doing this show. Maybe. You never know. We'll see. That would require that I'm alive next year. Anything is possible, as Kyle Shanahan would say.
That's right.
From James, Aaron Jones if he goes, or Gibson? Aaron Jones. If he goes, he's 100%. So that would be Aaron Jones.
If he goes, it's Aaron Jones. So I'm in agreement there.
I think this decision will be made for you, though. And where do you have Gibson this week?
15.
I have him at 18. Gibson is in my doghouse.
I love the matchup. I think it's a good matchup for him.
But he has a stress fracture, which has limited him. He's been ineffective. Not good. Speaking of someone who's been not good enough, if you spent a first-round startup pick on Gibson because you thought he was the next Christian McCaffrey, how are you feeling about that?
Yeah, that's more of the off-season hype train stuff that got way out of control.
Way out of control. So there was a little whoopsie on that one. Okay, we need one of these players here. Do not sit Terry McLaurin.
Exactly.
Ever. I have Terry McLaurin at 12.
I've got him at 7.
7? Oh,
yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, he's playing Seattle. I mean, I love the matchup. That answer is really easy for me. It's Terry McLaurin. You don't sit him.
Yeah, I have Devontae Smith at 19 and Bateman at 30. So McLaurin easily. Though I would like to get Smith in there this week. I have Smith at 19. So you must have a good lineup if you're sitting Smith. You're hilarious. Thanks, Josh. It's funny because I don't try to be. Really, I don't try to be funny. I always say, if you met me, and you're the only, and funnily enough, John is the only person in the fantasy community who actually has. This is actually what I'm like. My friends would tell you this isn't an act. If anything, I tone it down because I don't want to get the show canceled. And most of what I talk about with my friends is X-rated anyway, which we don't want to talk about. We're not going to do that on here. But yeah, no, this is really what I'm like. So I just try to be.
It is 100%. This is exactly what Tyler's like, and it's a riot. It's even more fun in person. So
I love it in person.
Yeah, that was a good time.
It was. I'm very much an extroverted person too, so I always like hanging out with my friends and shit like that. All right, Ridley Truth, Wentz or Russell Wilson? Oh boy, Russell Wilson has really been bad.
He has been, and again, I think I mentioned this earlier. I'm going to take the matchup here. Washington is the most generous to quarterbacks. This is a week for him to get right. I know the ceiling is higher for Wilson than it is for Wentz, so I'm taking Russ Wilson in this one.
Yeah, me too. I have Wilson at 12 and Wentz at 14. All right, need to start 2 of these 3: Patterson, Hunt, and Freeman. Patterson for sure, I would think. Yeah, Patterson's in. So yeah. What about Hunt versus Freeman?
I'm curious to see how they handle Hunt on his return. A healthy Kareem Hunt over Freeman every single time. So that's the only question. I guess if they activated him and they're bringing him back, I'm expecting him to slide back into the role that he is accustomed to, and therefore I would take Hunt.
Yeah, I'll play Freeman. I don't trust Hunt. Not yet, anyway. Pick one. Oh boy.
Wow, this is
Dez Fitzpatrick, DJ Dallas, or Rex Burkhead. Woo.
DJ Dallas.
No. You want to know who? Do you know who has a permanent seat in my doghouse? DJ Dallas. DJ Dallas sucks. DJ Dallas is one of the worst players I've ever seen. He's so bad.
He looked better with the work he got last week than Alex Collins did.
Wow. He looked better than Alex Collins. If that is such a benchmark. No, DJ Dallas is one of the worst running backs I've ever seen. He is putrid. I'm going to play Rex Burkhead. I'm going to play Rex Burkhead against the Jets. Yes. He's splitting. He had a lot of work last week. And this is against the Jets. I'm going to play Rex Burkhead. Pretty easily, actually. Rex Burkhead. Yes. This week, we're putting Rex Burkhead in.
This is where we're at on the show. Dez Fitzpatrick, DJ Dallas, or Rex Burkhead. Woo!
Yeah, I just can't trust Dez Fitzpatrick. I actually love him. If you're in Dynasty and Dez Fitzpatrick is on your waiver wire, go pick him up. I would love to add him to my team off waivers, but I'm not trusting him this week. I'd rather play Westbrook-Ikhine. I didn't even rank Dez Fitzpatrick. I have Westbrook-Ikhine at 56. So I don't want to play him either. But Dez Fitzpatrick, I just can't trust. Agreed on Barkley. It's just not looking good or feeling good. Some guys just can't bounce back. Yeah, unfortunately, some guys can't bounce back. It is what it is. I mean, look, it's not like Barkley's career is over, but I think it's time to accept that you're never getting 2018 Saquon Barkley back. And I wrote about that in the 6-pack. I said that it's now or never. Now or never. And I have a feeling it's never. I don't get it. Like, people hang on to old talent evals too long. Way too long. It's time to look at the Saquon Barkley we have, not the Saquon Barkley we had. What's more relevant, what he did last week or what he did 3 years ago? Right?
Yep.
If you think about it that way.
That's one of the games, for the reasons you were talking about, that's one of the games I'm going to be interested in watching. Is I want to see how he does. I want to see how big money Kenny Galladay does. I want to see what this offense looks like and how they utilize these guys. So I'm looking forward to watching that game from a production standpoint.
Today, Dynasty, would you rather have Javonte Williams or Saquon Barkley?
Javonte.
Easily. Javonte for me. But it is interesting in Dynasty. There's that whole big range of like older running backs. There's Barkley, he's not that much older, but Kamara, Mixon, Cook, Eckler, Chubb. You know, how are they gonna hold their value over the offseason? I think it's gonna be very interesting.
Yeah, it's gonna be shaken up a little bit.
Because I do think that the top, Taylor, Harris, and Swift are the top 3, and I think McCaffrey is just such a difference maker. He'll hold on at 4. I feel like Javonte is going to be 5, and then after that, it's a mess.
Yeah, that sounds to be probably pretty accurate about where it's going to land.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm going to tell everyone to do. And these days, I guess I don't influence the market that much, but some people listen to me. Nick Westbrook-Ikhine or MVS rest of season?
I'm going to go with the quarterback here and say MVS.
Yeah, me too. But I don't want either one.
Yeah.
Bateman or Myers?
Bateman. Yeah, I'm leaning Bateman there.
Bateman at 30, Myers at 37. So Bateman. And then we will close on this one from Kevin. Elijah Moore, Mike Williams.
I've got Mike Williams significantly higher this week.
Yeah, you have Mike Williams so high.
I
I'll
do.
go with Elijah Moore.
Yeah.
Trust Elijah Moore more. Trust Elijah Moore more.
More.
All right. Well, that's it. Thanks to everyone. Got through all the questions. Thanks to everyone for watching, listening, or whatever. Unfortunately, this is only a one-time thing, but yeah, it was fun. And yeah, if you like this, tell the people, tell everyone that you want to see me back doing this, because I'm gonna take the rest of the I'll take Bateman there. I'll take the rest. I'm taking the rest of the season off from the Sunday morning show. I'm tired. It's kind of been wearing on me. So I'm gonna take the next 5 weeks off. But in 2022, if you want me to do a Sunday morning show on this channel, just leave it in the comments and tell the people that you want this show back, and I will consider it. Doing it alone or with a regular. I'd want a regular host, not a rotation of guests. I'd consider how I would want to do that. So anyway, thanks everyone for watching. I will see, if you're watching on my channel, I will see you very late tonight to do the recap with Ryan. If you're watching on the DLF channel, I will see you on Tuesday at 9 p.m. Eastern to do SDLF. Either way, thanks to everyone, and good luck today. Crush your fantasy matchups.
Yeah, thanks for hanging out.